Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. Drives on drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. Yeah. Playing a high drive into left. Back goes to Craig. He's at the track. He has it. The Cardinals world champion from 2011. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
This is the Team of Rivals podcast. No insiders, no anonymous sources, just passionate analysis from the bleacher seats. Here are your hosts, Ron, Pete, and Elliott.
All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's show. We are on track to have a full crew tonight for the first time in like 3 weeks. If that actually happens, it remains to be seen. Pete will be coming in hot tonight after taking a break from the strenuous 1 hour a week job that we have. So he'll be back on tonight. That was a dick for saying that, wasn't I? Just maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah. All right. So Pete will be joining us tonight, and we've got some things to go through, which is surprising because when we were talking earlier in the week, kind of pinging each other back and forth, at least Pete and I were like, so are you? I don't know what's going on with baseball. I mean, it's been a struggle, right? I mean, this has been a struggle. But before we do that, let me ask you how you guys have done since, like, I tell you what, last week seems like it was a month ago.
Absolutely. It's been weird.
What's amazing is at the end of every day, I'm like, Jesus, what happened to this day? It's gone already. But yet from podcast night to podcast night, it just seems like it's been like weeks since I've talked to you guys, but I'm glad to see your faces. Brecklyn's got a new hat on, or at least one I haven't seen before. Or maybe I've been too intoxicated on these shows to notice, but is that a new hat? You're going to tell me no. She's going to tell me it's not a new hat. Is she frozen?
She might be frozen.
I love it. God, hold on.
She did say that she may be having
show the picture. Yeah, she froze
some troubles.
Yeah. She can
her
jump.
Internet. There she goes.
She can jump back in. Is she back on?
No, not yet.
She's gone. She's gone. She's completely gone. All right, I'll send her another invite back in. Give her another way. Oh, there she is. She's back-ish.
Hi.
Back-ish. Hey, I gave you I was trying to give you an introduction, but you just kept smiling at me and you weren't blinking.
No, well, I promise I'm not trying to get creepy. I know it's the Halloween month, but you do.
Yeah.
No, I was about to say something. I was taking a jab at Pete, and then all of a sudden everything shut down. So I was like, that's what I get for that, I guess.
Yep, that's Pete's voodoo magic working on you.
That's right.
All right, so I've got a text from somebody here. Is that you?
That was me. That was me telling you that my connection completely died.
All right. Well, you know what? It's been an internet issue tonight because we did a live show for the Cardinals Nation over the last hour and a half, and I got logged off 3 times on the Facebook Live. So sorry. Apologize to anybody who was trying to watch us there. I want to ask you guys real quick. Not even quick. We can go to this as long as you want, but something's bothering me a little bit about the playoffs, and I guess it's been this way for a few years now, but for some reason it didn't land on me awkwardly until this year. You guys realize that a major network was not broadcasting playoff baseball until the World Series with Fox, that it had been the ALCS, the NLCS had been on TBS, which I still don't understand that, and Fox Sports 1. Like the major
bullshit.
The 4 major networks were not carrying playoff baseball until, and we even had a Yankees Red Sox division series. We had the Red Sox best record in baseball, by far the best team, against the defending World Series champion Astros. It was on TBS, guys. I mean, nothing against TBS. I think that crew actually does a pretty good job, but it's just something seemed wrong. I mean, what's going on with baseball? What's happening? That is it just not? Are the major networks like NBC, CBS, Fox, and ABC, are those just not the places people go to watch sports anymore? Because I still turn football on every Sunday and it's on. So what's going on with baseball?
Maybe they're just not paying enough money that MLB wants to put those shows up there, or they just haven't, negotiated properly to get them.
Or maybe they have a contract.
There he is.
That too.
Hey, Pete.
But MLB needs
Elliott,
to
hang on. We have
quit
to stop.
complaining about this.
We have to stop. No. We have to stop.
Saw this coming.
Stop it now.
Oh.
Stop it now.
We got so
Welcome
far.
back.
Pete, before I even welcome him back, I want to ask, who the hell dressed you this morning?
I did. I got lots of compliments. You didn't. You can't even see the whole thing, man. You got to check out the shoes too.
Oh, wow. That is
Yes.
snazzy.
That is definitely Doctor
Snappy.
Who cosplay.
I didn't think we were going to tell him about that.
Did you borrow those from Cousin Eddie? I mean,
No, I didn't.
nothing, guys. No National Lampoon's Cousin Eddie thing. No. Okay. Thank you.
Over my head.
Thanks, guys. Well, I think.
Cheers, fool.
I want my boss right here in a big bow.
Is that a salmon-colored sweater?
It is.
I like it.
At least somebody on this show appreciates my.
I know what the color
sensibility.
salmon is. My
I'm
goodness.
colorblind, so I can't even tell.
Yeah, but she expressed an appreciation for it.
I like
She's totally full of shit. That was fake
Very
enthusiasm. Fake
It
enthusiasm.
took you this long to figure that out.
All right, enough. Pete, welcome back. Glad to have you back.
You're the
Glad
one
to have
that
a full
started
crew
it.
back. I
Good
know.
to be back.
All right. Pete, what I was going into was, I don't know when you jumped on, but the point I was making in the beginning, and Elliott was giving his take. We'll go back to him real quick, but I know it's been this way for a few years now, but none of the four major networks, and by four major networks, I'm saying Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC, none of them broadcast a single playoff game until the World Series. Don't know why that struck me as so odd this year, but we're sitting here watching a Boston-New York division series on TBS.
It's been that way for at least the last 2 years.
I know, man. But for some reason, like it didn't just. I guess I've known it's a reality, but it just like you know about these things, but they don't sink in until you're looking at it. And you're like, I'm looking at every swinging dick football team being on major networks on the weekend. I'm not seeing playoff baseball.
Well, that's because you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan.
No.
Come on, that was a good one.
I know that Fox Sports sometimes they'll play that game on Saturday, right? They'll broadcast, and it's regional now, right? It's not even a national game anymore. It's like they'll have
they'll have like four of them,
right? Between like you're right, Elliott, like 2 to 4 different regional games that they'll broadcast on Fox. And of course, you know when the Cardinals play, I'll be lucky to get like the Mets.
Actually, Ron, that's a good point.
But the major networks are not
regional
until we get
it's the regionalization of baseball, and then baseball wonders why it doesn't seem to have the broad appeal.
why nobody knows Mike Trout.
Yeah,
Well, of course we don't.
Exactly.
You had the MLB game of the week, and that was the only game that was on TV
Right.
you could watch. Now you can go through a season only watching your team and the teams that they play. That's an excellent point, man.
Can one of you guys, I don't know if one of you guys are able to, maybe in another window or anything, pull up our YouTube live feed to see if anybody's commenting on anything. I did something a little different tonight where I posted the live link onto a Facebook post. I'm not able to port the Google Hangouts over to Facebook Live yet. I haven't figured that out without paying $30 a month for it. But anyway, if you guys, if anybody's commenting, if you got any questions or comments or points you want to make, please go ahead and feel free to do that.
Hey, Ron, decision.
Unless it's Dustin or something wants to say something awkward that'll make us all feel uncomfortable and probably make Brecklyn leave.
Hey, Zach Russell, thank you, man. The gang is all here again.
But anyway, anyway, I don't know why that bothers me, guys, but it's like it's our national pastime, and they're not showing playoff baseball until the World Series on a major network. And I don't know, it just kind of struck me this year kind of odd. I don't know why it didn't last year. I think last year the World Series was more entertaining. I think the playoffs were more entertaining last year. Pete, you were out here for part of it, and so
happy birthday to me.
Oh no! Yes, I didn't. I don't have that clip. I don't have the clip from the video, but yes, I need to take that. By the way, happy belated, buddy.
Yeah, some friend you are.
I've been a total wreck. Okay,
It's
so
only been almost.
Thank you, Elliott, by the way.
You're welcome.
My one friend on this show, apparently.
Hey, I didn't know it was your birthday. How was I
I-
supposed to know?
you know what?
Ron was supposed to tell you.
Oh, well, thanks,
Wow.
Ron. Now we're both under the bus.
I know. Well, don't make me reach my right arm out again, Brecklyn.
Don't even. What kind of threat is that?
I didn't even notice that until Pete said it one. I did it again. I didn't notice that until Pete pointed it out one show. I'm like, oh, that's awkward that my green screen doesn't go that far. But anyway,
Come on the show, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
it'll be fun and awkward and
There's a
hashtag-
lady in the room, they said. Yeah, well, just wait till he makes it your background.
unintentional. Look, Elliott gets a treatment too. It's an
Yes,
equal
I do.
treatment here. And he actually liked that. He's going to replay that tonight. Yeah, I know. It's
Anyway.
another awkward moment.
Baseball.
Baseball isn't on any of the major networks because no one cares about baseball anymore because most of their teams are out of it. The teams who are in it are pretty well have their fate destined. It's already pretty well all worked out. So
Doesn't that suck though? I mean, I really hate
It's
it.
all
Baseball's kind of feeding into that, though. You know, they're regionalizing baseball. I mean, as Roundtable Decision says on the YouTube live chat, it's annoying to have to pay. And Ron, you can sympathize with this. It's annoying to have to pay to watch your baseball team across the states. In this case, the Cubs from Texas. You have to pay for a whole MLB package just to watch regular season MLB games.
Right.
They regionalize themselves rather than nationalizing themselves, and so you're not invested in the sport as a whole. You're only invested in your team. And then, of course, you're not going to have games on the major networks because they're not going to be watching it, you know? Because you don't know the teams. You don't care about them. You're not invested in them.
yeah. I mean, that's fair.
No, just very-
and it's tough too because when you are heavily invested in your team, the only time you really look at the other teams is when they're coming up on your schedule.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, with the way that the NL Central has been the last couple years, I feel like more people are paying attention to the other teams to see what they're doing because there's not a ton of parity in the NL Central besides the Reds,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more paying attention to the Brewers. There's a lot more paying attention to the Cardinals by Cubs fans and somewhat the Pirates because they've kind of been in the mix a little bit the last few years at some point or another. But I feel like other like the AL West, who's everybody paying attention to?
Well, that's a hard one to do, especially when you live in a region like mine where you're on the east. I mean, hell, from Indiana east, you're watching games that start at 10 o'clock at night. It's really hard during the regular season. But I guess what I'm saying is even like that Saturday Fox game, it used to be one game or Fox.
It used to be the only game that was on, and then everything would always start afterwards.
Right. And so I guess the last place that exists right now is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, to where you have that one nationally televised game that is going to be that one game that's playing on Sunday night, and that's it. So ESPN must have an exclusive right to that. But that literally is like the only time you can catch a player like Mike Trout when he's actually playing out on the West Coast. Otherwise, you don't see it. I'm sorry, I stuck my hand out again, Elliott.
All good. Feels good.
So handsy today.
But it seems like baseball is trying to take the NFL approach, right? Because when you tune into an NFL game, and it's been this way our whole lives, all the games are on, and you get the game that they're guessing you want to watch.
Right.
Even the afternoon game, there are still 3 or 4 games that are on Sunday afternoon, and they're going to try and give you the one that you're most invested in. And baseball's taking that approach. The problem with that is that in football, you're only playing 16 games a year. You feel like you can't afford to miss your team's game.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like 162 games. You can miss a game. It's okay. Show me a really good team once a week.
But speaking of football, Pete, another rub I have that's not good is that the whole NFL Sunday ticket package deal, right? Like you literally have to have satellite unless you're a college student and you live in a dorm or you live in an apartment or a condo where it can't be installed. then you can subscribe to the streaming portion of that. And like me, I'm a streamer, I'm a cable cutter, but I can't get Sunday. I don't even have the ability to. And I'd be willing to do it. I'd be willing to pay a couple $100 a year to watch the Bears now, maybe.
Hey, the Bears are doing all right,
but they're missing out on my dollars this year because they just don't offer that. At some point in time, most of the leagues have to kind of wake up to the trend that's happening with cable and subscribers, with people living everywhere now. The world's smaller. People are no longer just stuck to their region. I mean, that's not going to be a way of the future. So it's going to have to change. And I see it as almost like a a la carte, if you will, without blackout restrictions, is what it's going to have to come down to at some point in time. Because I live in Charlotte, and yeah, of course, the Panthers are the local NFL team here. That's not who I want to watch on Sunday. And although I'm willing to pay to watch the Bears, I don't have the ability to.
Yeah, and I'm going to be in that same boat as you next spring when we move back to Illinois, because I am a cable cutter, and MLB.TV is going to block me from watching the Cubs on the MLB app because I live in that market. The only way
DirecTV now, you will get your local channels.
Well, I have PlayStation View, which I'll get NBC Sports, and I'll get ABC7, and I'll get Fox when they're on Fox. But when they're on WGN, I won't get them because
you won't have to worry about that for a little while longer. They're going to have their own network in 2 years.
Yeah, but it's still going to be annoying as hell.
It'll be like the Disney streaming app that's coming out. Like everything will be like ESPN Plus, where you just pay for channels at some point in time. Which
ultimately, I mean, for a lot of people, that's probably what they prefer. But why are we talking about the future of digital media?
Okay, so this is
talk
where
about baseball.
Because it was talking about. So
because the baseball playoffs are the baseball playoffs right now, and that's why we're talking about digital media, because this is boring shit.
And besides the NLCS, the playoffs have been boring since the CS series.
No, they were boring since the Cubs got eliminated.
Oh, shut up. Brecklyn, go ahead.
You missed me.
You were making a point, and I got
loud. I was going to kind of pull it back to what Pete was saying before. I mean, the whole reason why we got on this NFL tangent is that with the NFL, I mean, you watch on Sunday. And if your team isn't playing on Sunday, then you have Thursday night football and Monday night football. But you know which teams are going to be playing for those days.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only 17 opportunities in the regular season to watch your NFL teams. And just as Pete said, there's so many more opportunities to watch baseball. You miss a game, you miss a series. I mean, it's not going to be too big of a deal. You just update yourself on what happened and what you're going to see going forward. There's also, I feel like since games are played so much more often in baseball, it almost gives this illusion that there's more baseball to keep up with at all times. And I didn't realize, but there's more NFL teams than there are MLB teams. And it's just, I don't know. There seems to be so much more going on with baseball because of the amount that's being played. It's easier to focus in on your team and see who those players are that you're seeing regularly and things like that. And while the NFL, it's almost the same setup every single time. So, I don't know. It makes sense to focus on the one team.
No, I don't disagree with anything you just said. The one thing I'll bring up, since you said fewer Major League Baseball teams, there could stand to be fewer Major League Baseball teams, and I'll start with my favorite one in Southern California. Mark McGwire informs the Padres that he's going to step down from being their bench coach to spend more time with family. I can't imagine why anybody would want to leave a Padres coaching job.
Next Cardinals head coach.
Head coach? No. No, I don't see that as head coach. No. I think the Cardinals are fine with who they have right now. They'll see how it plays out. Of course, he's not had a full season under his belt, but I think they're settled there. I don't think Mark McGwire is coming back as hitting coach either. They have Mark Badaska. Mark's all of his kids and his family is all out in California. He's not going to be coming back to St. Louis, but would I welcome him back? Yes, because I think he actually did a pretty good job with a young team in 2013 and 14. I believe he was there in 14. No, he wasn't. He had left by then. But, from 20 2010 to 2013, I think Mark McGuire had a pretty decent resume as Cardinals hitting coach, and I do think he had an impact on young players like Alan Craig and David Freese and veterans. So I would absolutely welcome him back as a hitting coach, but that's not going to happen. I mean, he's a West Coast guy. He's where he wants to be. He has nothing left to accomplish by coaching or managing or anything else. I mean, the guy's made all the money he's going to need to live however the hell he wants to live the rest of his life. I don't know why he'd want to step back into it. But he always represented the Cardinals well when he was in their uniform. And I know the history. We know the controversy around it. But as a coach, when he stepped back into baseball, you could argue he didn't become 100. He didn't come 100% clean with everything that happened. I get that. I get the whole point. But I think as far as his coaching ability, I would welcome him back. But I can't imagine why he would leave the Padres. Oh, good luck to them. # league contraction. # move to Vegas or anywhere else. Monterrey, Mexico. Hell, San Antonio. Doesn't matter as long as
Tijuana.
There you go. It's not too far away, man. You could put whatever on a truck and move that shit down to Tijuana, and you're good. And as long as they don't allow anybody who's ever made a decision for the San Diego Padres over the last 6 years, might even go longer, as long as nobody is allowed to make any more decisions that has been there over that time period, I welcome the Padres back into the league under the Tony Gwynn Foundation.
I'm going to remind you that you were going to talk about cutting down so there's even less teams.
Well,
what other teams would you like?
No.
Which keep in mind, whenever I said there's fewer MLB teams than NFL teams, it's only by 2. There's 32 in the NFL and there's 30 in MLB.
Right. I don't know, guys. We've touched on this briefly on this show before about could there be a couple more MLB teams? Where would those potentially be located?
That's where Rob Manfred wants to go. He wants to expand the league.
Hang on.
He wants to go to Vegas.
Yeah, and probably Portland.
Everybody, hang on.
To what?
I don't see.
This
Portland
is fascinating radio.
Hang on. I know, but I had to switch around some plugins here. All right, man. Give us your what's bothering you tonight.
Well, I got pretty cool news, and
yeah. What's cool news?
I'm pretty excited because Yanni won the Roberto Clemente Award.
Oh, thank you for bringing it up before we were able to on the show, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well deserved.
See, I jumpstart things.
Breaking news.
Yes, that was something we hold on, Brad. Something we touched on the last show, and that is I didn't realize this, but I forgot this. So he's the 5th Cardinal to win that award. The last one was Carlos Beltran, which kind of caught me off guard. I forgot that he had actually won that. I believe it was in 2013. But yeah, go ahead, Braden. I mean, it's quite special not only that we get to see a player play out their entire career, which is, I think, a pretty good chance he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think it's pretty unique that we get to watch that play out through his entire career right in front of our eyes. And who knows? I mean, all of us guys, who knows how many more players or how many more opportunities any of us will get to watch that with our own teams throughout baseball, throughout fandom, everywhere. So, and to win an award like this, I'm sure it's very important to him, given what happened to Puerto Rico through the hurricanes, and he spent a lot of time off field, and him and his wife have donated a lot. So, I'm sure this award ranks right up there with some of his Gold Gloves and other things that he's won, Silver Sluggers. Yes, kudos to him. He's genuinely, I believe, a good person, and not only a great leader and a player, but to do something like this is very, very honorable. And that's all I'll say. Braden, go ahead.
Well, when I met Benji, Benji talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Like the whole Puerto Rico thing. And he said, they had a picture of Roberto Clemente in their house. They looked up to him a lot.
Hold on, Braden, let me ask you this question. You met Benji.
Yeah.
Who's more intimidating, me or Benji?
No
you
pressure.
can say Benji. We all know that Ron's just a big old teddy bear.
Really? Is that true?
Hey,
you used to cry if I looked at you wrong.
Are you talking to Pete or to your kid?
Well, both.
I don't think anyone.
He doesn't want to answer.
You don't scare me, Dad. You don't scare me.
Him. All right. Well, I knew that.
And Benji doesn't scare me. Benji's cool, dude.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got to meet him.
Do
That
I
was
scare
pretty cool. So, Braden, we were talking a little bit about TV and regional coverage and everything on games. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We were transitioning here, but
What about like the blackout time thing? And like every time I come to visit you, the Cardinals are either playing the Nationals or the Reds, or miraculously
He's
the
actually
Orioles. And
right.
we can't watch baseball.
He's
for
actually
3
right.
days.
No doubt. Whenever I have him here, like they're playing the Reds, and this year they played the damn Reds and the Nationals like back to back, and like we couldn't watch anything for like a week. It was brutal.
Dang.
Oh, that's no fun.
No, we get the radio coverage through the MLB.TV or whatever MLB app. We get the radio broadcast. We couldn't get the television, so that was awful. Braden, anything else on your mind tonight you want to get off your chest?
I do. And I think that the Dodgers don't look anything like they did last year. Not even close.
Well, let's talk about that group. I want to ask all of you, roundtable, real quick. How many innings have you watched, Pete? World Series.
I think I got about 6 innings in.
Damn, that's good.
You're a better man than I. I got about 4 innings in.
Breck's at 0.
Yep, 0. I haven't watched any of it.
I've probably made it to one game about the 3rd inning. The other one maybe 4. So I might be pushing between 6 and 7, Pete. Before one, I just get disinterested.
Yep.
And so I checked in on the scores, of course, and the app and everything, but I found it necessary to start watching Making a Murderer season 2 in the middle of the World Series.
Why did you do that?
Is that good?
It's good. I mean, I enjoy that kind of stuff, but I started ahead of now to give you guys a little context here. My wife, she left. She went to visit her girlfriend out in Colorado, who's had like a 4-month-old baby. Her and all her friends from they're all high school friends, and they met out in Colorado. So I had the boys and my daughter all weekend. I'm sorry, from Saturday up through last night. So when the game started, I think it started on Monday, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tuesday. So I made it through 3 innings before I said, yeah, I'd really like to watch this series. I watched the first season, so 3rd inning, and I had it on my iPad in the background. My eyes didn't go over to it once. And so all of a sudden, the Red Sox I think they had the whole game in game 1, but I didn't absorb much of the World Series. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not a Red Sox fan. I think that they've lost that underdog thing at this point. You know, they're on the cusp of winning their 4th World Series since 2004.
Yep.
And so they're no longer that underdog that I would have cheered for back in 2000 whatever. Not 2004 for sure, but talk like the 1999 Red Sox. They've lost that for me. They've cost me 2 of my most painful moments in my Cardinal fan history by beating the Cardinals in 2 World Series, which 2004, kudos to them. Nobody was going to beat them when they got on a roll. 2013 was total horse shit. All you had to do was not pitch to David Ortiz, Mike Matheny, blockhead, dumbass, kept throwing to him. Sorry, Braden.
Is that kind of like not pitching to Christian Yelich?
Right. Yes. Yeah. You put it in the same basket. Like there's this guys. Well, okay, we're going to actively choose to not let this guy beat us in this series. I wish Matheny was smart enough to pull a Joe Madden like a Joe Madden did on Bryce Harper. Got into his head in one series, just refused to pitch to him, and it worked out. Right.
And then broke Bryce Harper for a while.
He broke him as a human. I mean, literally. Yeah. So. Braden, I didn't ask you, how many innings of the World Series have you been able to watch, or have you cared?
I probably watched about almost the full game of each 2 games. I beat everyone. I watched almost every.
Are we ashamed? Baseball podcast panel, are we ashamed?
Nope,
Braden,
not at all.
Can't hold it. Actually, it's a good thing for baseball that people like Braden are actually watching the games.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is. We are letting baseball down, but I just don't care.
No, baseball's letting us down.
It's
But
hard, yeah, it is. It
That's
is.
fair.
And I want to get into that a little bit more.
You know, as crazy as it
Interesting.
sounds, I know MLB wasn't rooting for this, but
Yeah.
if the Brewers would have made it, I would be watching.
Oh, I would too. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you know what? It's a, and I'm surprised. I mean, Pete might be pissed at him, but I think that it's an NL Central team. I underestimated them at the beginning of the year too. And I think out of every team that was in there, the Brewers are the one team I didn't expect to be there at the end. And that was the team that was most interesting to me to watch throughout the playoffs. And when they were eliminated, I couldn't. Brecklyn has a totally different opinion, obviously, but you know, I would have stuck with the National League Central as I watched it play out. But
I mean, that Dodgers Brewers series was really fun. It was interesting. It had drama. I mean, you got the lazy shortstop clipping the first baseman, sliding with his heels up, calling him a dirty player.
You're gonna call it?
hold on.
And I can't wait till he's wearing a Cub uniform.
Oh, shush.
That's a topic we're going to hit on here in a bit. I don't want to go there now. Because I think Pete threw that out as a question, a couple names, and I think that's a good one that we need to kick around. Braden, I want to ask you a question real quick. That is why, as every time I've talked to you over the last 3 weeks, I'm staring at your damn ceiling fan and not you.
Because you know, I mean, my ceiling fan looks pretty cool. So
look, Ron, I can explain it.
All right, let him explain it, B.
Braden understands that the key to ratings is taking one's shirt off, and he wants to go the full Kyle Reese, but you won't put him on the video.
No.
Oh, I don't have a shirt on right now.
See?
No, he doesn't.
Ooh, there
He's
you
trying to help us.
Oh,
He's trying.
Actually, I understand. Ron's
Kyle, do you have
looking
anything
out for
to say
you,
about
Brecklyn?
What?
Ron's looking out for you. He doesn't want you to get arrested.
Oh, thanks. For me to get arrested.
Yeah, you see young Braden's hairless chest. Just won't be able to control yourself.
No. I thought you were going to lead to somewhere like with me taking my shirt off, and I was like, y'all are already having fun with the background. I don't know what else you're wanting from me.
Yeah, this is terrible.
We need ratings, Brecklyn. Come on. Take one for the team.
We're desperate for ratings.
Let me
here.
talk more often. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we should. Okay, so I want to bring this up, guys, because I think we had in our last show, we had one of our bloggers, our writers on. I'm sorry, the show before this one, the last one is what I'm referring to tonight. She brought up a really interesting point, and she said, hey, you're looking at a team like Boston who is placing hits, who's hitting to all fields, who is doing what teams were routinely doing 6 or 7 years ago. We're looking at it now like it's an alien thing. That's my ringtone, by the way.
Okay.
I can't hear that song without thinking about the Robin Williams movie.
All right, Braden, hang on. I was making a point.
Undefeated, never lost.
Well, thank you.
You don't need to play the clip. I got it.
Well,
I was gonna say, I like
I was
that.
playing. No, I was
What you
playing it
doing?
for you, Ron.
Oh, okay.
You were undefeated, never lost.
do you see where I get it from?
Yes,
Yeah,
I've known him for almost 2 decades. Yes.
All right. So, but Beth Chapman, who's one of our bloggers for the CN24-7 website, Cardinals Nation 24/7 website, brought up a really good point about an hour and a half ago. And that is, you're looking at a Boston Red Sox team who is hitting the ball to all fields, who's placing hits, who's not taking the bionic mechanical swings that I've criticized all year long. On the other dugout, you're looking at a player like Cody Bellinger, who epitomizes, in my opinion, guys, he epitomizes that whole thing that I think is working against the interest of baseball. And that is, I'm not trying to single him out or pick on him, but he is part of that group that's come up and been trained to swing the exact same way every pitch, no matter where the pitch is pitched. You swing the same way in hopes of producing 8% more home runs a year. And I think you're seeing, at least when Boston's up to bat, you're seeing a much more interesting game than when the other team's up to bat. And I think that's just what you're seeing. And hopefully this is a trend like frosted tip, spiky hair guys did in the early 2000s, that it's a trend that just dies quickly. And we go back to guys that just hit. They just hit. They can hit to all fields. Give me a Jose Altuve, Tony Gwynn all day long. I'll take that 1,000,000 times more than I will the batter who just swings the same damn way every time in hopes of producing something that will launch over the wall. And so I think that was a really good point. I mean, that's what we're seeing, and I think that's what's become uninteresting in the game. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I enjoy, like, especially watching the Cubs this year. When the Cubs were hitting to all fields, those were the games that I enjoyed the most. Not the games where you're waiting for somebody to hit a home run and then that was the difference in the game. I enjoy taking that outside pitch and hitting it to right field. If they get that inside pitch, smacking it down left field line. That's just, it's better baseball than waiting for somebody to make a mistake and hitting that meatball out
and throw it in your only wheelhouse.
Right. So you take the pitches that you get and you make the most of it by doing what you can with it. That's the kind of baseball I like watching.
Brecklyn, what's going on in that gray matter up there? What's happening?
Well, I mean, of course you're going to like interesting baseball. And it's great whenever you have a player that are able to identify pitches like that and stuff. I mean, that's a great player. And I feel like the game is advancing so much that, I mean, there's great players, there's great pitchers. And like, of course, I'm going to say I want more interesting baseball. But I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and be like, play better, because they play so much better than I would even imagine anyone would be able to at this point. That it's kind of, the game is plateauing a bit. And maybe that's a thing of, how can we change the game? I mean, I like the game as it is. And I completely agree with you. It's just one of those things, like, I feel like I shouldn't be asking for more from them when they're already doing amazing things out there for what, they have. Does that make sense?
It does, but you got to understand, we're all older guys, and we pine for a time when everything in the world was much worse.
Much worse.
In almost every way.
So we're waiting for Pete to call in on his car phone when he's coming back from these business meetings and stuff.
Right, you're lucky we're not
cell phone belt clips.
And you're damn lucky we're not broadcasting this on MySpace.
MySpace
Which still exists.
What music did you have on your? Oh yeah, it still does. It's like a launching platform for a bunch of bands that like aren't good. I checked it out. I got in trouble with MySpace once, but no, like customizing your. Okay. Yes, I was on MySpace. I may be young, but I'm not as young as you make me out to be. Yeah. I'm on like the cusp of when everyone gets really annoying.
I didn't say you're too young. I said we're too old. That's
oh. That's fair. That's fair. But no, I completely understand that.
You didn't have to confirm it, but thank you.
I'm saying I understand what you're saying. I never said that I agreed with you. But no, yeah, like, of course I'm going to want better baseball. Who doesn't want better baseball? But I don't know. How would you make it happen? That's where I don't know.
I want here's what I want, Pete. I'm interested in what you have to say about this. What I want to get back is to when you get into a situation where you need a guy to just make contact, that we're all on the edge of our seat because this guy's capable of making contact or doing what must be done, moving a runner over from second to third by hitting it to the right side.
Yes.
And or getting that sacrifice fly when it's badly needed and not popping up or not grounding out into a double play. I felt like a decade ago, like that was more commonplace. Like that was like a successful suicide squeeze. You see that now and it's like a miracle.
Because
but
even,
you look
with
at a guy throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You see it almost every night with every team. Like every team has one or two guys that can throw 100 miles an hour. It seems.
Yeah.
So things have kind of they've changed in Brecklyn. I get what you're saying. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, there's some exciting things that players can do. Athleticism is amazing right now, but I think that pure thing to just do what needs to be done is kind of lost just a bit compared to what it was even like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So not that long ago.
Well, I definitely agree that a lot of things are more mechanical. I mean, you hear about. You gonna answer it?
We're polishing this off right now. All right, B. Hey, I know you must keep getting kicked off. I was keeping you on hold there for a while. Final words before we sign off here.
Well, I think the Red Sox are going to easily take the series because the Red Sox are really good. And I have big news.
Okay.
Big news.
Big news. Tell us your big news, and you need to go to bed because it's late.
Have you ever heard of a Woj bomb?
What is that, guys?
What?
I have no idea.
ESPN reporter who
Oh yeah, Wojciechowski.
Wojciechowski, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so me and my buddy, we're gonna start doing junior high sports broadcasting games on Facebook Live, and we're gonna start our own baseball podcast.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Very
Two
cool.
junior high kids doing baseball podcast.
Baseball podcast. I like it.
Is your dad producing it?
He's a Yankees fan, so it's like it's a different perspective.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Yankees fan.
Is his family from New York or?
No, but I just think his dad's always been a Yankees fan. So
Yeah, I would question that first, and I would probably maybe look for a different co-host.
well, it's gonna probably be two sides.
And trust me, I know. You see what I'm dealing with here? Yeah, that.
Wait, is she a Yankees fan?
She's not a Yankees fan. She's a Cardinals fan. I've seen her logo. Look at our new logo. She's on there. Cardinals. I know it's reverse.
Hello.
Thank you, Brecklyn.
What am I, chopped liver? Have you been listening to me? I feel cheated. No, they just brought me on because they thought,
All right,
girl.
B, we got to wrap this up here pretty soon. So give us. So you're gonna broadcast junior high sports on Facebook Live.
Yeah,
like a play-by-play thing, which is very cool. I love that. And you're going to start a podcast with another friend, baseball podcast, but he happens to be a Yankees fan, which is fine. I mean, Yankees and Cardinals.
Yeah, well, it's called two sides of the diamond because it's two different baseball perspectives.
I like that title.
Like it's not just a rivalry. It's like two sides of the earth on like I don't know. It's like two different worlds because Yankees and Cardinals don't
I like the title. That's pretty cool.
It ties into just like what we were talking about with people paying attention to their team more than they do the other teams.
The whole regional
they play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds great. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
All right, buddy. I'll give you. Yeah, doesn't he? He's convincing. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right. See you, Pops.
Bye.
You know what's coming.
All right.
It's a Woj bomb.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Love you, bud. Bye.
Bye.
Look to see what you're dealing with. Can I help you? Am I not? You need something more?
He forced that "love you" out. Did you hear that? It almost like puked it out. Like, I'm just taking up his air at this point. All right. Back to the task at hand. I think that the point that the writer was bringing up was, we're seeing again a team in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, that doesn't have a bunch of bionic swingers. that didn't come out right. A bunch of yeah, a bunch of people that just shit. Go ahead, somebody else talk.
We just got our episode title.
Bionic Swingers.
Bionic Swingers.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, Ron, to answer the question before Braden made his big announcement.
Third entrance.
Yeah. You wanted my take, and I agree with you, man. I miss the old days, and I'm looking forward to what it sounds like the Cubs are striving to return to. And while obviously this is particular to the Cubs in the coming season, I would love to see more teams do what I think that the Red Sox are doing. It's just that people aren't recognizing it.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing teams being aggressive on the first 2 strikes and then looking to put the ball in play. And being aggressive does not mean necessarily trying to hit a home run. It means looking for a particular pitch and having a plan with what you're going to do with that pitch if you get it. And then once you get 2 strikes, then you just look to put the ball in play rather than looking to hit a home run when you get your pitch.
Yeah,
because that's what they're trying to do. And that's why we're seeing so many strikes. That, or else they're trying to outthink the pitcher. And that's why you're seeing so many strikeouts and so many walks, is because they're
you're right. I totally agree with you. Like, they're waiting to get that one pitch in that test tube that they can handle. And that's the one they're willing to jump on. And I think I really like the approach some players take where, let me ask you this question first, Pete, before I even go into that. Do you think that part of the strategy is to wear this pitcher out so he gets through the third time, that magical new analytic thing where it's third time through the lineup, you can't have the same guy in anymore? Do you think they try to run that pitch count up to where they get that guy out quicker? Is that part of the strategy?
Right.
Well, I'm asking you, do you think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Because that's what we hear now, right? Like, well, no, they can't face the lineup for the third time.
Right.
Because everything shows that
that's one of the things that my not having been on in the last 3 weeks, you guys have been spared with, but I've been telling everybody that I am, and Joe, I think is quite, Joe's quite guilty of this. And we're seeing Dave Roberts is a little bit too. They're so stuck with that, not letting guys go through the third time in the order rather than managing the game that's in front of them. And so you end up pulling Kyle Hendricks out of Game 7 of the World Series, even though he's rolling. Like, okay, I get it. Let him go through twice, but then that third time through the lineup, go batter to batter. But don't immediately assume, okay, well, he's done. He's seen every batter twice, so I'm going to pull him. That's not necessarily the best team or the best strategy for your game. Manage the game that's in front of you. Stop planning it before the first pitch gets thrown.
It seems like the rules of baseball have been simplified down so much that we're taking a lot of the strategy away because we're assuming where we're going to fail without giving the chance for success to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, you're right, Brecklyn. I think in a lot of cases too, it's don't trust your eyes anymore. Trust this data sheet.
Yeah, which I don't like. I like having data in baseball. I think it's fascinating, some of the things that people are able to calculate and determine, and I think there's a place for it. I think there's something that can really be learned from it. But I think that baseball is so much more than just the numbers and launch angle and things like that, which that gets into a whole nother conversation. But to be able to say, well, statistically, this is what happens versus I trust this guy. I feel like he's going to be able to handle it. And then just like what you were saying, Pete, like take it by batter basis, even at that point, if you want to. You have to be able to kind of trust the game and trust the players and see what it happens. Just because some number tells you that, oh, well, this is your destiny, doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. Baseball's weird. You got to write it out.
Yeah.
I want baseball to be weird again.
Make baseball weird again.
MBWA.
It's just too cold anymore. I mean, there isn't as much anticipation because just like what you guys were saying, they wait for their pitch and then they try to get a home run. A lot of the strategy of trying to create runs outside of, blasting the ball into the stands feels like it's diminishing. And I think a lot of that kind of ties back to what I was saying before, in that the game is evolving to where there's all kinds of people that are throwing over 100 miles per hour. I mean, imagine having a little old baseball come zooming at you that quickly. I mean, I still find it amazing that they can even see the thing at that point. But it's, that's just what's going.
My career panned out. I can't hit a stationary one there. Pete's seen me golf.
I thought you were talking about T-ball. I was really excited with the idea of you having one of those little plastic tees and you're trying to swing and hit it. And
trying to get it back. Trying to get it back from my tee in here. It's a Nerf tee.
There you go.
Yeah, I could do that. Maybe. So, I'm thinking a lot about as we look at how the game's changing, and I got a question here. It's kind of I don't know. It's not funny at all. I was wondering if if an asteroid hit the Earth and everything was going to hell, would Cody Bellinger still be swinging the bat?
He'd be aiming at the asteroid. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just wondering. I'm like, would he take the same swing if an asteroid hit the Earth? Just trying to bat it away. Look, would he take the same swing and actually miss the asteroid that was like a mile wide? I think maybe it's possible.
Well, no, it depends. I mean, if it's a left-handed asteroid, then I think Dave Roberts might be sitting him because the matchup just doesn't favor them.
Whatever, that's fine. I can go right along with that. I think, and Matt Bowman would still be warming up.
Yeah, right. Since it's the first asteroid, then everyone's gonna sit it out and not swing.
Yeah, right.
They're like, oh, wait for the next one.
No, wait for let the asteroids wear themselves out, hitting the Earth before we attack.
By the third point of contact, that's when we're ready.
It really is interesting to plan the demise of the Earth and put it in managers' hands, like Dusty Baker or Mike Matheny or anybody else. Like, what would happen?
That's it. We're done.
Who would we survive with? This is a good one. Would we survive with Joe Madden or Dusty Baker?
Could you imagine like the press conference with Dusty Baker as the asteroid is hurtling at us and it's clear that we've passed the horizon of action? And he said,
if I had William Wallace here,
my horses.
The only thing that would survive would be Dusty Baker's toothpick.
No.
That's what's beating down his
floating out into space. And
so I'm just gonna be there,
and some alien race grabs the DNA from it, and there's just a planet of Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker. It's all just him.
There would still be racism
on
that
peak
planet.
of the human race,
even though it's just Dusty Baker.
Yeah, something racist still would have happened on there because on a planet of Dusty Bakers, somebody's at fault. Actually, that asteroid was racist.
The asteroid was racist.
That asteroid was racist for aiming at the Earth while Dusty Baker was in charge of planetary defenses.
Well,
Dusty Baker,
or it was LaRusso's fault. or it was TLR. It was totally LaRusso's fault, I think. All right.
Don't know who put out the hit.
I don't know how we arrived at this, but
it doesn't matter.
There's going off the rails, and then there's doing what we just did.
No, there's going off the rails, and then there's the Team of Rivals podcast.
Ron, no, I'm not going to let you get away with this because you always do this. You're like, just imagine with me here, and you let out this little chuckle during your question, and then the next thing you know, we're talking about like digital media or a planet of alien.
Well, I kind of know where
and you're like, how did we get here? I wonder, Ron.
So
Pete, am I being called out for the first time for this shit?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I might be. Which is fun.
So with the minimal amount of innings that we all have watched, will the Dodgers at least win one game?
No, moving on.
Okay.
No.
I want one. I want them to win one. No. I'm holding out a little bit of hope for them, and then they'll die. But
they
just
won't.
One.
No.
Nope.
All right.
World Series coverage concluded.
Yeah, that concludes our World Series coverage for the remainder of the season.
I was like, Pete hit it.
You would think that Ian Happ hit a home run in the first game or something.
Oh my God.
He was going to hit 17 of them.
That was your cue, Ron.
I was
searching desperately, looking hard for that.
I did not have the app up, but since you asked, I mean, I can go ahead and.
Our favorite thing in the world.
Still waiting.
It's not playing.
It's
not so let's go.
We need to have somebody with the Jeopardy music like on background. So for these moments that happen, yeah.
You think so?
It's not playing.
Yeah, maybe fun.
Nothing I can do about it. It's technology. It's not working. What do you want me to do, guys?
Your
Should
best.
we go to our favorite topic ever that we've been talking about for the last year?
Which one's that?
Launch into it.
Bryce Harper.
Ooh.
I knew that was going to come up as soon as we said Ian Happ's name. All right.
It's a great topic. It's a thing. It's a controversial thing. It's thing that. Oh, sorry, guys.
Because apparently he's going to go to the Cardinals now.
Oh, if you're listening to just Cardinals Twitter, don't do that.
never listen to Cardinals Twitter. You can pay attention to Cardinals Twitter, but don't invest in Cardinals
I kind of
Twitter.
have to. It's in my face every time I open up my Twitter app.
No, proper
whose
response
fault is
there,
that?
E, is it's my job.
Ooh, there we go.
This is
For your
job.
strenuous 1 hour a week. Don't forget that.
That's right.
How much prep do you do? Do you do any prep?
Me?
Ooh,
No, Brecklyn.
I do some prep. I pay attention.
1 hour a
but,
week.
like, oh, you weren't here. Ron totally slammed you
I
earlier.
did totally.
It was a part of that. He was,
It
saying
was a
you're-
low blow. It was a low blow. It was like a dick blow.
I'll
Whoa,
listen to it
whoa,
again
hold on.
later.
Whoa.
Wait, did you give
Okay.
my tap?
I just said that. Don't.
Did you
Bionic
do one of those?
swingers, dick
Bionics.
blow. You've been feeling
So
Elliott
Ron-
all day.
All
Is
right,
your wife
so
not paying attention to you recently?
Yeah,
or like, you okay?
I know. I've bad poor choice of words the whole night through.
Please understand I'm joking, but come on.
So on Ron's
I've
description,
had a bad night.
on Ron's description of the YouTube episode, that takes care of item number 8. Well, actually, we've done that numerous times. Item number 8,
Anyway.
in case you missed it, Brecklyn is number 8. We'll make Brecklyn uncomfortable at some point. That's done.
I'm not uncomfortable
I
yet.
did that early on when I stuck my arm out.
Hey,
Shark
you didn't
break.
you didn't put number 11 here. Braden will call in. I mean, that's a given.
Yeah, I know. I should have done that, and I didn't.
Multiple times.
That was a
Elliott
myth.
hasn't yet
That was a myth.
opened the beer 2 inches from his mic, although I shouldn't have said anything because then he would have done it.
Yeah.
Now
He's
it's
drinking
just going to
something
look like
else.
he was trying to do it to complete the bingo card.
Yeah.
Ooh, guys, we should definitely make a podcast bingo card. And the free space is, I don't know. What would it be?
Are
Is
you
Ron-
calling in?
I would actually be game for that. I know you might have thought I wouldn't, but I would be.
Braden calling in is the free space.
You think so? There's been a few times that he doesn't call in, though.
He's lost track of his days a few times. He's slipped.
That was during the summer when every day was Saturday.
That's right.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't, because I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
do you remember,
I
guys? There
him
was
saying, I don't
one-
even know what day it is right
No,
now.
but yeah, there was one show when I called him preemptively. So I'm like, he's going to call in the middle of we're getting into a heated battle. I'm gonna knock this out right now. And I called him. He's like, "Is it Thursday? Oh, I didn't know what day it was." But
All right.
Yeah.
Well, since this show really has no direction, let's have some fun with it. What's on the Team of Rivals broadcast or podcast baseball or bingo card, right? I mean, obviously Braden calls in.
Yeah.
The
Ron
undefeated
Ron
never
mentions
lost.
that he grew up in the Cubs Cardinals DMZ.
that's
That's
a
one.
good one. Yep.
The undefeated never lost soundbite.
Okay.
I'm undefeated.
Ron's rants. There it is.
Ooh, Ron's rants might have to be like a corner because that one
Yeah.
it's not always there. Oh, yep, the Kyle Reese. Yep.
Had the sandwich.
Elliott
Yeah,
makes
sandwich,
some kind of completely unaware noise. Sniffles, coughs, sneezes,
Opening a beer.
opens a beer, belches.
Like,
Crack.
Something that could have easily been covered
Cracking
just
open
by
an
hitting
IPA.
mute,
yes.
just for a half a second.
Elliott's little random noises are some of my favorite parts of the show because you never know what it'll be or when it will happen.
No, and I don't have the energy to go back, but he is belched in front of the mic well before you joined.
I accidentally belched in
just-
front of
oh,
Pete one time before the show started, and I'm still embarrassed about it.
I was unaware of my surroundings and I open mouthed it right all over the
You
mic.
did. It was like no shame. It was like it was like just
Is that
roared
the
out.
sound?
It kind of sounded like
Sound
Chewy,
like a
didn't
wildebeest?
it? Like that.
Star Wars reference. That's another one.
Oh yeah,
Space.
definitely.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
all right.
should have been
So I got
writing
the
these
thing.
down.
I got the thing working. I know it's late, but
And this happened live on the radio. Guillermo at Cubs opening day.
There's
here we go.
there's a bingo
And
space.
I wind up
Ron screws
and
up
a
the
bit.
audio cues.
Oh God! A home run on the first pitch of the
Welcome, Derek Jeter, and that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season.
there you go. It was late. The show. I had to restart. The whole
Oh,
iPad
of
to get this to go.
course. Zach Russell weighing in on the chat. Pete saying Zazzle.
Zazzle. There we go.
Yes,
Pete,
good
you
catch.
said-
Good catch.
You said Ron messing up a soundbite. We can make that like internet problems, but then also the quote, "Sorry, Brecklyn."
That should go on the inner portion.
I love it.
What else do we have?
How many do we need?
Awkward silence. That's one.
There you go. Yeah.
That's happened for 2 years.
We are professionals.
All right. Hey, so can we come back to the bingo card here? And I want to go to Elliott. You tried to ask the question earlier. Bryce Harper, who's he more valuable to, the Cubs or the Cardinals? Like, who needs him more? I want to start with the Cub fans.
And as much as I don't want to admit it, he is more valuable to the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals could use a left-handed hitting corner outfielder more than the Cubs can. I mean, and it's only because the Cubs
Like Zach Schwarber?
No, it's because
Hayward.
Yes, the
Sure,
Cubs
the
have
show.
$180 million sitting in right field currently right now, and they are overloaded with outfielders. I mean, your outfielders that played this last season are still going to be on the roster as of now, or are still on the roster. Hayward, Almora Jr., Ian Happ, Ben Zobrist, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber.
I mean, throw Schwarber into the successful group.
I didn't say successful. I said who have played outfield this past
who's out
season.
there?
Okay.
So, I mean, do you want to bring in another right fielder? I mean,
Well,
yeah, you're yes, Pete, thank you. Yes,
I do. I do, and I want to bring in a shortstop.
You want both of them. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. Embarrassment of riches.
Pete wants it all.
And I want it now.
Veruca Salt. Yep. There you go.
I was thinking Queen.
Oh.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking too, Ron.
Oh,
But-
well, I'll just keep my Charlie and the Chocolate Factory references to myself then.
That's right.
No, you don't have to do that. You know, the funny thing is that they were contemporaneous.
I use that in a sentence.
Yeah.
Not just the one you said. But
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And actually, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is the one I was thinking of. But Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and
is the better version,
Queen were contemporaneous pop culture phenomena. They happened in the same time frame.
I understand what you're saying there.
So my boys have watched both versions, and they prefer the Gene Wilder.
Yes,
version.
Because it's creepier.
Yeah,
creepier.
It kind of is.
What do you mean?
Is.
What
the Oompa Loompas?
That
are
goes
much
without
creepier.
saying.
I think the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka is
No.
he creeps me out. I don't like him.
You need to go back and watch that again. Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka is
nuts.
literally insane.
Unstable and nuts.
Yep.
You get nothing with his hair flying all over the place.
Yeah, he's a very passionate fellow. Yeah, I guess the Johnny Depp one always just creeps me out more because he's more of an odd, like eccentric weirdo that I feel uncomfortable around. When I see the Gene Wilder
Edward
one,
Scissorhands as
see, and Johnny Depp's reminds me of a pedophile. That's his reminds me more of like
this
a
is
pedophile.
exactly where I wanted the show to go tonight.
we've covered all the other bases.
Yeah, you're right.
But no, yeah, with Gene Wilder's, I see it as somebody with like anger issues, you know, not even issues, but just like the lashing out like that. But for the personality,
which is more dangerous, which I enjoy more. It's like the new Predator versus the old Predator. More dangerous.
Go back and watch it again, Brecklyn, and pay a special attention to the 30 seconds or 1 minute, and then all the way in through. No, the acid trip on the boat.
Oh,
awesome. Yeah, that's always weird.
So
when he's freaking out when the soap was going all over. Yeah.
And even
I
before
agree
that,
that it's creepy. I agree that. I'm just saying that I get a more creepy vibe from the second movie overall, as in the first one, I get that creepy vibe for like increments.
I like
it's
how
there for
every
me the
time we
entire
brought
time
up
for the
one of
second
these
one.
obscure topics, like one viewer drops off.
It's just like, this isn't baseball. Which I have a question for our Cubs fans too about this whole Bryce Harper thing.
Oh yeah, let's bring it back on topic.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys feel like from performance-wise from Ian Happ and Almora Jr.? How are you guys feeling about that?
They're both on the trade block.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be, and Kyle Schwarber too. I
And
don't know who they're
Schwarber,
going to retain, but you know, if Theo Epstein in his season-ending press conference is going to talk about no longer valuing players based on talent, but instead valuing them based on production, none of the three of them has produced anywhere near the level of expectations.
That's fair. So out of your outfielders that you have, counting Chris Bryant as an outfielder, you just have Zobrist and Hayward that you think are reliably there.
Well, and Chris Bryant.
Well, I said like counting Chris Bryant for being out there.
Yeah.
So Chris Bryant, Zobrist, and Hayward, you think all are solid outfielders that you're fine with?
Yeah.
I think as long as you manage Ben Zobrist's time as well as you did this year, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Pete, I agree with you that as much as I don't want him to be, Almora Jr. will be probably out there on the trade block because we already have a Gold Glove type outfielder that doesn't hit very well, and we don't need two of them out there. We need another outfielder that can hit.
Yeah.
Right. If the Cubs were to manage to land Bryce Harper, then you absolutely move Hayward over into center field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though that Almora plays the better center field, Hayward will be sufficient enough.
Yeah.
And that's the only scenario I could see them totally going after Bryce is if I mean, they're going to have to deal those guys first, I think.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't see them dealing
I don't
those
think
guys?
No. You're still going to get a return for them regardless of whether or not the rest of the league perceives that the Cubs are in a position where they have to deal. Because they still have options on Almora and Happ, so they can always send them down to the AAA.
That's true.
So it's not like they're locked in a position where they. Remember, Addison Russell is not going to be a Cub.
Yeah, Russell's going to be out of there.
I saw a headline today that says Kyle Schwarber will not wear a Cubs uniform in 2019.
He's probably your most tradable asset.
I've been seeing a lot of that too, is that Schwarber probably isn't going to be a Cub again. Do you think you guys will make any other outfield moves? Like, could you predict that? Not talking about acquiring Bryce Harper, like just not considering that for the moment. Do you guys think that you'll be realistically moving Almora Jr. or Happ anywhere?
I think Happ is probably. I think Happ goes before Almora goes.
There's more value.
Yeah. Because he is a switch hitter. You will get more in return for him. I think they would keep Almora just as a versatile piece that could come in as a defensive replacement and still be a serviceable bat.
And you can give him occasional starts against lefties as well.
Exactly.
He does hit lefties well.
And then TLS isn't going anywhere.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. You don't like him? I do. In that role, the problem is that Joe tries to fit him into a role that he's not fit for. He's a pinch hitter.
Third base?
Yeah. He's a pinch hitter. You don't give Tommy Lascelles starts.
No. Never. Unless you absolutely have to.
Right. Maybe the occasional spot start, but he shouldn't be starting more than once every 2 weeks, if that. And
Gotcha.
Joe's trying to make him a regular. No. There's no value in that.
Gotcha.
Not that I don't like him, just he's being misused. Shocking.
Yes. Can you guys start all over?
Sure.
You're the one that left.
What's the last thing that you heard us say?
The hell was that?
That was
Baby Chewbacca, apparently. We're talking about. I asked them about Almora Jr. and Happ and if they thought that they were going to be moving anywhere in the offseason, because it seems to be unanimous that we think that Schwarber isn't going to be a Cub next season. So with the idea of if they were to bring in...
You guys don't think The Last Jedi is going to be on the
I'm not saying that I think he won't be a Cub, but I'm saying that he's probably the most likely to be moved because he has the most value.
For Schwarber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was
He has
just
the most
wondering.
value.
I mean,
Like an American League team or like what do you
Oh,
think?
absolutely.
No, but I of any team, compared to Hap or to Almora, yeah, Schwarber has the highest value for any team, American or National League, because he's proven this year. He proved to be a serviceable defender. He's not going to win a Gold Glove, but he's not terrible anymore.
But he won't embarrass you out in left field.
No, he's not going to embarrass you out in left field. And actually, he may save you some games with his arms or with his arm if teams continue to run on him and don't learn the lesson of this year. So there is value in him.
Okay. The reason why I was bringing this up, of course, is with Harper being an outfielder, just kind of, taking Harper's bat away from it, just looking at defensively, if you guys thought that he would be needed more on the Cubs or with the Cardinals, which Ron leads. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Pete.
No, I agree with Elliott. Strictly from a neutral point of view, he has far more value to the Cardinals than he does to the Cubs.
Right. But the biggest question is,
the Cardinals have the bigger need. The Cardinals have the bigger need for a big bat.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
And that's why he will not be in St. Louis.
I have heard that the starting price for him, you guys may have brought it up when I stepped away, but is $35 million a year, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what I hear that's where the starting block is.
That's what his people are expecting, yeah. And I think that's reasonable. Because the threshold amount where you're starting from is Giancarlo Stanton. Right? And it was what, 13 years, 292 million. And everybody
Harper, it was 300, wasn't it? Wasn't it 300?
No, 292.
Yeah.
Was it? So they owe him like what, 26 million per over
Something
the next
like that.
Yeah, 10 years.
So for AAV total value of the contract, they're going to look to surpass that. And he is, he's a better player than Giancarlo Stanton. All around, yes. Better defender, better hitter. And depending on where it is that he's playing. I mean, if he was playing at Yankee Stadium, he would put up the same kind of ridiculous home run numbers that Stanton put up this year.
I mean, he wouldn't be putting up 500-foot shots, but yes, you're right. Like quantity,
right? Yeah, and
what's the difference at Yankee Stadium? 400 or 500-foot home run doesn't matter there. It's
and also Yankee Stadium, it plays to left-hander. So yeah, he's there we go. But I think I'm clearly been away for 3 weeks. All that having been said, he's far more valuable to the Cardinals because he checks all the boxes of the things that are missing. I'd still like to see the Cardinals get a Wang in their 3-hole, but that's
exactly why the Cubs will go after Harper hard, is so that the Cardinals don't get him.
I still don't know if the Cardinals are going to pay that much for him. I just have no faith in that front office as much as I would like to.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Brecklyn, I totally agree with where you're going with this, is that they're going to look at this and go, this could potentially be a fifth of our payroll, if not more. Like, we sign him, then we're not able to keep Ozuna. We're not able to secure any other talent that expires, beyond their arbitration years. Just play this out. Who knows what's going to happen? Like a Jack Flaherty, right? If he continues to evolve and grow and get bigger and bigger, what are the chances you can't lock up guys like that long term? If they don't think that they're on the cusp, right, that this is the one piece that they're missing, then you're right. They're not going to make that investment because it locks them in too long. Yeah.
We are comfortable, guys. We don't need Bryce Harper.
My favorite word. Yeah. Well,
don't even come near me with no Manny Machado.
They need Bryce Harper. They can't afford Bryce Harper. That's the problem. That's going to be the problem. I mean, they need him, but they're not going to be able to do it.
They will be in the bidding. They will make an offer, but it'll be that minimum offer, and they'll try to rely on, they're in contention. They're right on the edge. Look at our history. The only other team who has won more World Series than us in baseball is the Yankees. Come be a part of this. And they're going to try and rely on all the intangibles making that sale.
And Cardinals Twitter is going to erupt, and we'll be like, "Look, it's our time. They're making moves. It's finally they're hearing us."
And the same people that said, "Oh, they should never dump that much money on a player," being, "Look, another guy didn't want to come here."
And then when he signs somewhere else, it'll be "Fuck Bryce Harper."
And
He's not that good anyway.
Go buy
whatever.
jerseys of
And
his
it will
and
be
they
for the
burn
Cub
them.
fans too. Fuck Bryce Harper. He could have been here. His dog was named Wrigley. What's his dog supposed to think now?
Yeah, whenever a Silver Star player comes in instead of him, it'll be like, "Oh, this person's better than Bryce Harper anyway. Don't worry about it."
You look at right. You're
He
right.
only hit
It'll happen.
250 this year. He saw.
It'll probably come from my favorite.
Just like okay, just look at the Josh Donaldson thing on Cardinals Twitter and just retweet that entire era and replace the name into Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
But no, so that's going to be fun. It's not going to happen. I like talking about it, but I get tired of talking about it because it's not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to
If
happen.
the Dodgers don't win a game, we could be talking about free agency pretty
November
darn close
1st.
Yeah.
November
Is this
1st
Puig's
the
walk
date.
year?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
All right, I wasn't
Weeks
sure.
what?
I wasn't sure.
Sorry.
I didn't know if this was Puig's walk year or not.
Everybody.
Not that I care, but I'm just saying.
Sure you do.
So, guys, when you were talking about all these players, Harper, Machado. Yes, the Cardinals have the greater need to bring in a player like that than the Cubs. I think that's pretty universal. The Cubs have several options for guys that can be that cornerstone, those pillars that are embedded in the middle of a lineup day in, day out. You have your pick of Bryant, Rizzo, Baez. The Cardinals don't have any one player that can kind of match that potential. Not yet. They don't have that right now. So
We have good players, but we don't have those players that other people are watching.
right. Good players, but no players that a manager has to stay up an hour later at night planning on how they're going to deal with that player.
And who knows? Maybe that factors in depending on Bryce Harper's assessment of himself. Maybe he's looking for a place where he doesn't have to be the man, where he can be one of the men. You know,
It's hard to imagine.
Chicago.
Right?
If the Cardinals end up getting Machado or Harper, then we can think of some kind of thing that I have to do. I can't exactly eat my shoe or my hat, but something of an equivalent.
You need to be
signed
specific,
your
Brecklyn.
Wait.
Well,
we,
like
should,
what?
we should send her some more.
Pete, you just take this one because I'm bad at this stuff. Go ahead.
No, Brecklyn, you need to come up with something specific, because if you're going to leave what you have to do up to 3 guys.
Dye your hair blue.
What?
If Harper signs with the Cubs?
Okay.
My hair. I'm not gonna get rid of my now. If it's a brunette or a blonde or something like that, then I'd be up to it. But like, I'll never dye my hair. Ever. From what I've heard,
I did it
like
once.
once you dye your hair, like it never goes back to its natural state. I've had some people say that's BS or whatever. I don't want to risk it. I like the color of my hair right now.
Hey, you
I
know
put
what?
extensions in that were a different color at one point. That was my fun little thing, but
That's actually, there you go. That's another bingo spot. Ron telling a story about when he colored his hair.
Ron calling himself old. There we go.
You've told that
one.
story
Ron
multiple
calling himself
times.
We are getting closer to
Yeah.
mortality. All of us are. Except you, Brecklyn. You got still a buffer period.
Except
We're all
for
getting
me,
really
I'm getting closer to it, but I'm still like going up the hill. Is what you're saying? I don't think you guys
Still
are.
one day closer to death, just like the rest of us. Eat it.
Pete, Elliott, and I are teeing off on
Well,
the
I didn't
12th hole.
hear it.
I'm on the 14th. I am older than you, gentlemen.
A little bit.
See, but at least
Yeah.
y'all know how to golf.
Well, I don't.
Well, then it's a bad. Then it's a bad reference for you. But the other golfers will know where we're at in life right now. If I say, "Hey," as far as my life expectancy, I've just teed off on the 12th hole.
Okay, I understand how the game of golf works. I make an analogy to where at least it seems like you guys know what you're doing with your life. I'm still here, like hacking at the golf ball, being like, "Is this how you do it?"
Brecklyn,
Anyway,
let
bad
me ease-
analogies aside.
This probably won't ease your concern at all. But
great.
I didn't know either, and so I chose to go into the military branch I went into because I thought girls would like that uniform better.
Brecklyn, I'm 45 years old now, and I still don't know what I'm doing with my life.
I feel like it's a general thing where like you keep thinking like, yeah, I'll figure it out. And no, you just like get older and keep accruing all these responsibilities that you figure out what to do, but you still are just looking around like, when do I figure it out yet?
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you've arrived.
You're an adult. Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks.
Yes,
Cool.
you've arrived. That's what it is.
And then like you get a bit older and you decide to have a kid, and then like it's crying and you're like, what do I do with this thing?
Decide to have a kid.
Or 4.
Ron,
or
did
4.
Did you decide to have any of your 4?
Not one of them. Nope.
Okay, there's some people who
did you decide to have a kid?
I said,
I think E did.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Here's what you don't understand, Brecklyn. I'm gonna drop a little knowledge about our good friend.
I say when bringing that's what
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you about our good friend Ron. He doesn't decide to have kids; they just happen.
He's bestowed
they decide
his
to have me as dad, and that's what happened.
That's right. Ron's sperm is so powerful that he doesn't actually have to have sex. He just looks at his wife and she gets impregnated. Yes. So
that's true.
The strength of Ron's sperm wasn't
that's
something
kind of
I
funny
didn't see
because
that in the show notes, guys.
I can't believe that actually worked its way into this episode.
I can. It's been 3 weeks.
My sister-in-law said the same thing, so I've heard it happen.
I got her pregnant too.
No.
Damn. Ron, I feel like maybe we should
brother.
stop talking for a while. I'm not ready.
Probably best not to make eye contact. Even over the internet.
Ron, and you thought this was going to be awful.
It is awful. I was absolutely right on my description.
Best episode
this is a baseball
ever.
podcast.
That's awesome.
Ended up with that, and we arrived at that at the end. That's fantastic.
Where do we go from here?
Manny Machado is a
anywhere.
better fit for the Cubs than the Cardinals. That's where we go.
Okay. Anything else, Pete? I think you're going to go into your thing.
Am I?
Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember. But
Brecklyn did actually. You know what? She stopped me last week.
Did well.
She stopped me last week. She's
Thank
like,
you.
She goes, "You shut your mouth. I've got it." And she
I heard. I listened.
It was actually really good.
Just because I
thank
disconnected
you.
doesn't mean that I wasn't listening. Wasn't monitoring
He's still
you guys.
listening.
You guys did well.
Wasn't
I was proud of you.
monitoring.
I was proud of you guys.
Sabbatical.
Those were a couple of good shows. I thought about taking an additional week off just because
we had record downloads.
I bet you did.
Oh yeah.
When we're not live on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast, on Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod, and on Instagram at Team of Rivals Podcast. You can contact the show at the Team of Rivals. What? You can contact us at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. I am totally out of practice. On Twitter, you can find Elliott at
TOR_Elliott.
You can find Ron at
I hate Twitter. You know, I don't remember what my handle is.
TOR.
That's not a handle.
75.
I don't know. I hate
Elliott,
Twitter.
I think Elliott got it right.
Well, it might be a handle. Anyway, you can also find the lovely Miss Brecklyn Carey at
Carry on cards.
Wow, the whole thing has been a disaster. Catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Radio Public, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Play. Radio Public is, of course, our preferred platform because it does throw a couple of pennies our way every time you listen. And they've added a new feature called Tips, where you can give us additional dollars straight into our bank. So go ahead.
Our campaign will be give us just the tip.
Just the tip.
Can you stop?
Just to stay on topic.
Can't stop, won't
You
stop.
wonder why Ron's sperm is so powerful.
And don't forget to visit the team store. Zazzle.
I want to know if somebody, just like the new t-shirt that we have that has the new logo on it with all of us, if somebody comes up and be like, hey, what's that t-shirt? It's like, oh yeah, it's this podcast that I listen to. And they give a little description of each of us, like what they would say.
It's a shit show.
Anyone who listens, like leave in the comments somewhere, tweet at us, be like, what would be
It's a shit show.
Yeah, what would be your one line? Your one line for each of us. It's a shit show. Well, so long as we're confident.
Did we talk about baseball tonight?
I know. I want to say so much more,
did.
but I don't.
We've been on
Every
for an hour and a
single
half,
one
and
of
we
our
talked for about
conversations.
30 minutes.
Yeah. No, we talked
Every
about baseball for
single-
about 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Every
That's-
conversation started with baseball
That's how
and
much
it ended
is
with
going on this week.
I told Dustin we'd call him in, but he's putting his kids to bed. And I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night, man. I'm like,
How old are his kids?
21. I don't know. I mean, all right, so we'll get him next week, I'm sure. All right. Any parting words,
Good
anybody?
night.
Welcome back, Pete.
It's good to have you
Elliott.
back, man.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's good to have you back.
Are you glad you're back?
Yeah, now we
Pierman,
got to check on Twitter again.
Pierman filled in nicely. I loved having another Cub fan on. Last week, we didn't, but Pierman did a pretty good job.
Are you
thinking
trying to
about
say
hiring
something?
him? Thinking about hiring him.
Yeah.
No, but
If we get another Cubs fan, I am going to unleash the sass.
I actually felt guilty.
No,
about
he's
that,
he's going to hire
'cause-
Pierman and let me go.
No, because no, honestly,
Start my
because-
own podcast.
No,
Called
because
fuck you, Ron.
I think there's probably more than one of them. But no, when he stepped in the week you were out, they didn't record one. I'm like, oh shit, and then I heard Curry on there go, well, he stood in for. We didn't have a show last week because he stood in for the team of rivals. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on, wait. Did you not do your show because he stood in for ours on? But that wasn't the case. They were taking a week off anyway. But I was worried about that. I'm like,
You stole them.
You
stole
home
everything he
wrecker,
had to
Ron.
say.
really,
You
I
home
really-
wrecker.
Hold on,
Home
man. I crossed a line here, and
And now Pierman's pregnant too.
he might be. I should probably check in. I owe child
Actually,
support
his
everywhere.
wife was in the background for like a second trying to show off her Brewers stuff. Someone might
she
want to
was-
check in on her.
Yeah, she was gonna wear her Brewers jersey. I think she tweeted that or whatever. But she was gonna walk in the background with the Brewers shirt on,
Yeah, someone make
Which
sure
is
she's
cruel.
all right.
which is cruel. But
Who needs a
right,
milkman
guys.
when you watch Ron's podcast?
really, all right. I think that's a perfect way to end it. All right, everyone. Love you. We'll talk to you next week. Bye bye.